Okay, grade 11s. Today we are doing the PAT for grade 11s. So before we start this video, I would like to say that the PAT changes depending on which province you live in. So if this PAT is a little bit different to the one that you have, which may or may not be the case, then just don't worry about it, because it should still be able to help you if you just follow along. Obviously, it won't be exactly the same, but the premise and the idea is the same, so you should be able to use this video to still help you. So yeah, let's just get started. So they say here, a small portion of a farm next to District Road 45, plot 17, has been rezoned to residential. Okay. As the farm is near to many tourist attractions and a town with a major new industrial development, the client who purchased a portion of the farm intends to build two similar self-catering houses. So that is the first thing I would highlight. Okay, the houses should be designed for families that are not only just visiting the area, but also for families that intend on staying there for an extended period of time, or they set up permanent residence in the town. Okay, so basically, like, it could be like a holiday home, or like, like a short rental kind of a property. So should be designed for families that intend staying for an extended period. Okay, then it says there are two old decommissioned silos, so cylindrical structures that were used to store grain on the property. These silos are made of 200 millimeters thick brick walls and are 7 meters high. So we are just going to highlight that, with an outer diameter of 6.4 meters. The client has requested that the silos be incorporated into the design of the houses. Okay, so that's the next thing I would take a look at. To aesthetically fit in with the design of the houses, the height of the silos should be reduced to a height of no less than 2 meters. Okay, and I would say it would look better if you go than 2 meters, because a house is actually quite tall. So we'll get to that now with the design. Obviously, this is not an exam for you guys, whereas the matric PAT is, so I will be able to help you a little bit more with this one. But yeah, okay. Window and door openings may be cut into the walls of the silos. Okay, just want to see if you can still see everything. Okay, as the client wants the two houses to be mirror images of each other, you have been commissioned to provide a proposed design solution for only one of the houses, and according to the given specifications. Okay, so you are designing only one of the houses. All right. The main entrances of both houses must face north, so we just can say main entrance must face north. Each house must consist of 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a large open area for planned kitchen and lounge. Okay. The silo may only be accessed from the lounge. Okay. It must be used as an entertainment area and contain a built-in fire pit. All right. The covered and raised wooden veranda must run the full length of the north-facing side of the house and continue along one of the sides. The lounge and main bedroom must have sliding doors onto the veranda. There must be built-in cupboards in each of the bedrooms. A carport for 2 cars must be attached to the house. The total area of the house, including the silo and the veranda, but excluding the carport, may not exceed 180 meters squared. So you can just quickly highlight house, silo, and veranda. The kitchen must have built-in cupboards and sufficient work surfaces. Okay, there must be space for a gas stove and a fridge. You can just put a highlight over there. Provision must be made for a surface area. I don't know if you can actually see that, my apologies. Provision must be made for a surface or area where 6 or more people can sit down to eat. Okay, the 1 bathroom must be en suite to the main bedroom. Okay, and the other must service the 2 smaller bedrooms. So obviously they're shared between the smaller bedrooms. Both bathrooms must consist of a shower, wash basin, toilet, and bath. All the rooms and areas must have sufficient electrical lighting and switch socket outlets. Clean water will be supplied to the site via the main municipal feeder line, and the wastewater from the 2 houses will be discharged into the main sewage line that runs under the district road. The client also requested that a detailed layout of the entertainment area, which shows all fixtures and furniture, must be included on the floor plan of the design solution. Okay, So just highlight that over there. All right, then they give you the site plan, which is a little bit skew on mine, but I can see everything. So obviously I'll just show you when you need to see it. So we're not going to worry about that at the moment. Okay, so wait, did I show it to you guys? I'm pretty sure I did not. See, it's a bit skew. So I can see it, but I'll obviously explain to you guys if you need to see it. Okay, so basically with the grade 11 PATs, a lot of them are taken actually from past matric PATs. And so this is actually one I did when I was in matric, which was a really fun PAT. They have changed it a little bit, but yeah, just thought I would put it out there because then we can have a look at this one together and see how things can get done. Okay, so we've got phase 1 here. Again, the printing is pretty terrible, my apologies, but I should be able to still work with this. You should be able to as well because I'll read it out for you guys. Okay, so we're going to start with phase 1 today because we've just had a brief overlook of what is required. So it says analyze the given scenario and then formulate a design brief in 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph must, in your own words, give a brief background to the project as well as a clear description of what has to be designed. Okay. The second paragraph must, in your own words, give a clear overview of your role in the project. Okay. As well as a narrative description of the complete design process that you're going to implement to complete this project. Okay. And they say here paragraphs only, not a whole page. They don't want to read an essay. Okay. From the scenario in your teacher's management plan, so your teacher will give you a management plan, which is basically the timeline it is going to take you to design this PAT. Include the following as part of the design brief. Okay. List at least 15 given specifications. List at least 3 possible constraints. However, the specifications that you have listed may not be repeated or reworded as possible constraints. Your own management plan that specifies target dates or the completion of your own presentation requirements. Okay, so you're also going to have to do your own management plan. So before we carry on to the next part of phase 1, whenever you're given a patch, you're always given a paper that looks like this over here. Okay, and it basically will help you mark your paths. Obviously this is very terrible to see because you can't exactly see what's going on here, but it's okay because I'm just going to read it to you and you should have your own one in front of you anyways. So it says first paragraph and a clear description of what to design. Second paragraph, your role and the description of the design process you're going to use, a list of 15 given specifications, a list of 3 possible constraints, a management plan with possible target dates for all the presentation requirements. Okay, so how this would be laid out personally, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3 in different styles. We might not do all of phase 1 actually, but it's okay. We'll obviously have more time to do that. So the first thing you would start, I'm just going to fold up a piece of paper here and we're going to imagine that it is a A3 piece of paper. Let me just see that it is in frame. Okay, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to design a paper that sort of has all of the information that you're going to need on the paper already. So for this one, I would say I'd put like a nice heading, design brief. Obviously you must make sure yours is all neat and tidy, so if mine is not neat and tidy, then my apologies. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what is expected of you. So we have design brief. Then you could lay it out that you have your first paragraph here. So you would say, I don't know, maybe you want to label it, maybe you don't. So you would have your first paragraph here. Perhaps you have a heading, let's say you do, but I don't think you'll need it. I think you can just write as you start. So you don't even have to have a number 1 if you don't want to. You can just have your paragraph neatly laid out, but you'll have basically a paragraph and a design brief for this paragraph here, where you have to describe in your own words a brief background to the project as well as a clear description of what it's to be designed. So you might say, you might actually use what's been given in your information over here. So let me just find it again. Okay, So here it says a small portion of a farm has been rezoned to residential, and many tourist attractions in town may with new industrial developments. The clients who purchase a portion of the farm intends to build two similar self-catering houses on the property, right? So you might say, okay, your brief background to the project might be that two houses, two self-catering houses, two self-catering houses previously that were previously farmhouses need to be redesigned so that it can be used as a short-term rental or even as a holiday destination, something like that. So you're going to say it in your own words, and you're going to briefly explain like what you have to change and what is to be designed. And then you might say like two houses that have an entertainment area and sufficient bedrooms and like living spaces need to be need to be designed, so on and so forth. Okay, obviously I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what to do, but I hope it gives you an idea. So I would look here for starters, and then you can kind of like read the rest of it and kind of say what you think you want to put in there. Okay, then you would have your second paragraph. So say your second paragraph is here. It might be longer, it might be shorter, so don't worry if, like yours is taking up the entire side of the page. That's also okay. Just don't make it an essay. But then it says your role in the project is to be discussed next. So you might say my role as the architect is to make sure that everything gets designed according to the following brief, to make sure that all specifications are met, constraints are figured out, research is done, that the building is designed in a way that will meet every sort of requirement, and that you can do it under a certain given plan and that sort of thing. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But yeah, so basically you're just gonna say like, because now you are the architect in this situation, and you're basically gonna be like, yeah, I'm the architect and this is kind of what we're doing to make sure this project is happening. There will obviously be the design of the project, formulating from or designing this project from the design brief given to us and that sort of thing. Okay, and then it says your next step is to list at least 15 given specifications. So you might have like a list of specifications. And specifications are things that need to be done. So like there are requirements. So I'll actually stick up the definition for you guys in case you really aren't sure and you would like to know. But for an example, a specification would be the height of the silos should be a height of no less than 2 meters. So you could say, careful. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so you would say for height, actually keep your writing in capital letters. This looks a lot neater. The height of the silo should be no less than 2 meters. See, so that's a requirement, right? So it has to be that way. Okay, just give me a second. I don't know what this cat's up to, but worried she breaks something. Okay, so that would obviously be a specification because it's something that really needs to be done as part of the design. Okay, you have to obviously do 15 of these. So just to give you another one, we could say the entrances must face north. So you could say entrances must be north facing. Okay, and then perhaps you say the silo must be used as an entertainment area. Okay, so this is kind of just to give you an idea of what is sort of expected from you. Okay, and a list of constraints would obviously be the next thing you need to do, and you guys have to provide 3. So we would say here list of constraints. Don't do what I'm doing. Obviously make sure that yours is nicely laid out. So you'd have a list of constraints. Now, constraints and specifications are sometimes similar, because while the silo must be used as an entertainment area is actually a specification, you could possibly see it as something that hinders your design process, because perhaps you think that the silo would be better used as a kitchen area because it could like create a very nice design, or like be used really nicely for design purposes. But unfortunately, you can't use both. So you can't say silo must be used as an entertainment area and then say that that's a constraint. Okay, so you can only have 3 constraints, and they may not be as part of your list of specifications. But what I would say is a constraint is that the total area may, oopsie, what's my spelling today? May not exceed 180 meters squared, right? And the reason why I say that's a constraint is because you'll find that once you start designing, the space that you design uses up the floor space so quickly, and sometimes you'd feel like you don't have enough. So that is something I always see as a constraint. Perhaps you don't see it as a constraint, but I do think it is a constraint. And then obviously you'll find 2 more, and you'll obviously find more here. Obviously, if you have extra specifications, they might run over to the next side of the page, or however you design it. Okay, then they also want a management plan, so perhaps on a next page, so we're just going to pretend this is a new page now. Then you would have your management plan. So my advice would be to look at the one that your teacher gives you and sort of make yours, or like structure yours in sort of the same way, because obviously you've got one from your teacher, and then you got to make your own management plan. Okay, so you would have like a separate page for that, and then obviously you would have like page 1 being the design brief, page 2 being the management plan. Okay, then we're going to move on to the next part, which would be your research. So let's just see that that's in the frame. Yeah. Okay, conduct research on 3 of the related requirements or features from the project as prescribed by your teacher. Okay, so obviously I don't know what your teacher would like you to conduct research on, which is fine, because we could just imagine some stuff. But basically the research must be relevant, so you must be able to use it, and should therefore be in the form of graphic material, which is pictures and illustrations, at least 5 different examples that covers all the requirements of each research topic must be included in the PAT file portfolio. The research material must be aesthetically presented and may not exceed 3A4 or 1A3 pages per topic. There must be clear evidence that the research has been used in your design solution. So that means you can't just use research and then, or like research something, put it in your PAT and then not use it, okay? And include a list of all references used directly after the research. So if you go to a certain website or you take a picture from somewhere, you need to actually put the references that you used. Otherwise, you're taking it as your own work, okay? But now let's imagine something that you might be asked to conduct research on, and maybe something that you are asked to conduct research on is sliding doors, because obviously we know we've got sliding doors in the PAT. We also have silos, so maybe you have silos and sliding doors. You'll basically conduct a research page, so perhaps you have like a picture of a silo and you basically showing what it looks like. Okay, this is a silo, and then perhaps you have like a floor plan that already includes a design of a silo. to give you a sort of idea of like what's required from you, you know, so that you can get ideas of what to do. So perhaps this would be your floor plan or something, I'm not sure, you know. And then you've obviously got your silo, so maybe it's got some design features over there. Okay, you know, so you could have like pictures of different things, and you might have notes. So you might say like curved wall, which makes an interesting feature, blah blah blah, whatever you want to say. And then you might say like, okay, this is what it will look down when we reduce the height, as opposed to being this tall. So it could, your research could be on anything. Okay, and then perhaps with sliding doors, you're looking at what they like the different designs are. So maybe you want a sliding door that looks like this, and you just want to see like, how do you draw it, what's a nice way to lay it out. And you might have different ways. Perhaps you have like a floor view of a sliding door so that you can see how you draw it in. Maybe you don't know. It happens. So yeah, then you can have your little sliding doors. So basically your research is just pictures and like little examples of the things that could be in your PAT. Obviously it depends on what your teacher gives you. And then the next page would obviously be your references, which will be named your bibliography. Okay, and then that would be part of that PAT done already. Okay, then it says prepare neat, detailed freehand drawings of the floor plan layout of 2 possible design solutions for the proposed new building. Each freehand drawing must show the correct presentation of all the building features, the permanent fixtures, as well as the primary dimensions and labels. So I think we should highlight that. Okay, prepare neat freehand drawings of 2 possible design solutions for the proposed new building. Each freehand drawing must show correct presentation of drawing features, permanent fixtures, as well as primary dimensions and labels, which means like the most important dimensions. The calculations for a floor area and the total area of the entire building must be clearly shown in the table on the drawing sheet of each freehand drawing. Okay. Note grid graph paper must be used to assist with the presentation of the freehand drawings, that all features of fixtures are drawn to proportion. The evidence of the grid graph paper must be used clearly. The grid graph paper used must be clearly evident in the PAT file portfolio, so meaning that if you do use your paper, you need to put it in with your PAT paper so that they can see that you used it. Okay. Then it says it is recommended that you use the reverse side of copies of darker clear grid paper, or to simply use a copy as a backing to clean drawing sheets. So basically what they mean is, if you look at this cutting mat here, it's got these grids on it. So they mean you could either have it printed on the back of a paper, right? So say, I don't know, let's use this as an example. So say you've got your grid graph paper printed at the back of a paper, like this one over here. Can you actually see this? Yeah, you can. Okay, and then when you flip it over, you should be able to see through your paper. Obviously you won't see it here, but you might see a little bit. Okay, there's my grid, and then you can draw whatever you need to draw based on that grid over there. Okay, then the other thing they're saying is you could have grid graph paper. So like, imagine this at the back here, and then you lay it flat on top of that paper, and then you draw on the lines that you see. Okay, so that's what they say over there. And then it says use block sizes as a scale. Example, 1 block equals 10 by 10 millimeters, or 5 by 5 millimeters. So this is obviously 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. Perhaps it might be smaller, and you might have 5 by 5 centimeters, millimeters, sorry. But yeah, so you're going to need to do that. And I think before we actually continue with the rest of this, I'll do this as a different video so that I can actually give you ideas for floor design solutions or floor plans. I think we're going to stop the video there today. And what I am going to recommend is to figure out which scale you would like to use. I have a video that talks about using the metric scale. I'll make a playlist for grade 11 PAT videos, and I'll put that video in it. You must watch it. It will help you understand scale so much better, because that is where unfortunately a lot of people struggle. So once you understand that, we'll move on to the next part of the like design part of the PAT, and then hopefully that will help you guys sort of see and understand your work a little bit better. Okay, so I hope this kind of helped you. If there's something else you would like me to talk about in these videos, let me know and I will be happy to help you.